For the love of God. You've got everything stacked against the Noles. Your best defensive player, out. Your best offensive, maybe best player on the team, out. Your starting left tackle, out. You give the ball to Tate Rodemaker, a guy, even a learned gentleman like myself, did not fully believe in, with a deficit at the half. And the Florida State Seminoles somehow figure out a way to battle back in the land of bourbon. And it's appropriate because this game was drunk AF. And they come back and they win 35-31. And guys, I'm here. I'm Trey Rowland. I'm the Knowles 24/7. We're here at the Instant Reaction Podcast. I've got to do all the house cleaning because my mind is a scrambled egg. I'm here with Coach AB. I'm here with Kevin Little. Guys, how did it happen? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. So let's go for the good first. Let's talk about the good, Coach AB, and then we'll talk about what we're frustrated with.
We'll find about, guys. There's going to be plenty of time to figure out how we got there. The first half, the defensive approach, the energy, all that good stuff. We'll figure out how we got there, and we've got the whole triple option film review to figure out how we got there. But guys, we got to the end with the W. And if you would have told yourself, hey, I'm going to give you Tate Rodemaker, I'm going to spot you 7 points, and you have to outscore Louisville for an entire half.
Yeah.
On the road. There's no way I would not. I'm going to be an honest man. I can't believe it just happened that way. And it was not perfect.
Oh, by the way, no Robert Scott.
Florida State's 3-0. with no Robert Scott.
No Jared Verse. No Fabian
no Jared Verse. No hope. No semblance of reality. We are living in the simulation. We are all just batteries for the machines of the Matrix. Adam, I'm going to let you go, but I'm going to force you to. Smart football guys. You're going to be positive for the first couple minutes because we won 3-0, and I did not see it coming at all. Adam, positive me.
Yeah, it's tough as hell to win a game on the road, and they went and won a game on the road with everything stacked against them.
Everything.
Yeah, I don't care about all the X's and O's right now. We're going to get into that in a little bit, but holy crap. I mean, they found a way to go win in what turned out to be a pretty tough environment. It looked like it was going to be dead early, and then they somehow showed up, and you didn't make it easy, but baby, it's not easy to go on the road and win football games. I don't care what caliber team you are. We see Alabama struggle to win on the road.
Sure.
In the SEC, we see Florida State do it. We see all kinds of teams struggle to go into somebody else's house and win, especially on a Friday night at nighttime, with the crowd rocking. It's not easy, and they went and found a way to do it with all the chips stacked against them. So people are going to overlook that. I think they grew up a lot tonight. There's something different about this football team. It's not going to be pretty. We knew that they were going to be playing in a lot of one-score games, and they're finding ways to win them right now.
It wasn't an Ermon Lane type comeback.
No.
But my God, I haven't seen a comeback like that since 2014, right, guys? As far as like all of the circumstances against you, all of the debility. Think of the worst injury that you could on basically every level of the team. And it all happened here on the Louisville drunken pizza guy, Papa John Cardinal Stadium, which is clearly like buried on some sort of like ancient gypsy burial ground because the bad vibes permeating from that turf. I've never seen anything like it from an injury standpoint. And they came back and won. Kevin, we will go through the game chronologically, but my God, feed me some emotion. And how are you feeling right now? And guess what? As the leader and one of the 7 founding members of the Tate Hive, do you feel vindicated?
I don't know if that's warranted to say that I have been a big supporter of Tate Rodemaker.
You've been bigger than everyone else I've ever talked to.
I've said that he makes baffling decisions, which we saw in the first half. I said the kid's going to throw some stupid picks, but if you let him have a chance to settle in the game, the kid can throw the freaking football. The kid can make some throws that no one else on this roster can make. And that that touchdown to Johnny Wilson, the fade in the back of the end zone.
Oh, Johnny Wilson. My goodness. What a game he had.
We'll talk about that guy. But that fade to Johnny Wilson, that was a freaking NFL level throw. That's not something you're getting with most quarterbacks in college. Now, is he a complete product? Is he someone that you want to keep trotting out there consistently? No, but is he someone that I said from the beginning, you can kind of trust to be a backup once he gets settled in, because the upside to Tate Rodemaker is high, and you got to see a little bit of both. You got to see his low, which everybody knows about him, but you also got to see that high. And yeah, that was exciting stuff.
It was an absolute emotionally draining experience. Let's go chronologically. Let's talk, because there were some things that were baffling. There were some things that were promising, and the way the team responded to get to 3-0 for the first time since I think 2015. Jesus, it's been a while. Was extremely impressive. However, let's start at the beginning of the game. Florida State, Louisville gets the ball first. They get a 3-and-out. And Florida State immediately respond, they score. It's 7-0. Guys, what did you think of the initial game plan with Jordan Travis, who looked absolutely fantastic until the lower leg injury? I don't think we really know what it is, but it's something that looked like it was very serious. We'll see how long he's out. Obviously, we'll wait for Mike Norvell to tell us about all that stuff. But what do you guys think about the Noles' offensive and defensive game plans coming out of the gate? Adam, go ahead.
I'll touch on the offense, and then I'll let Kev talk about the defense a little bit, because we might get a little bit negative here. I thought early on
more positive.
I thought earlier on they were smart. Louisville stacking the box defensively. They were spreading them out, looking to throw the ball to loosen it up. And then I thought that they got a little bit too pass happy. I thought that I felt like the running game was there. They were presenting you with some opportunities to run the ball either on outside zone or inside zone. I didn't like the counter stuff in this game necessarily, because it was going to be slower developing, and they were doing a lot of slanting up front. So I thought they had opportunities early to want to run the ball, or to run the ball, and they didn't take them. They were throwing them. They got a little pass happy. I think that they put themselves in some positions. They're going down, throwing, and scoring. So it's tough to really be overly critical of that.
Sure.
And then
the first couple drives.
The Jordan injury happened, and then all hell broke loose. So I thought they had a chance to run the ball a little bit more early, maybe take a little bit of pressure off of Jordan, but he was balling his behind off. So hopefully he's not out too long. There's some rumors out there about maybe what's going on. We'll see. Obviously, Mike Norvell's not the best about talking about injuries, so I'm not sure we'll ever get a real answer from him, but we'll see how long Jordan's out for. Kev?
Coach speak.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear Kev talk about the defense.
Before we get to the defense, because there were some legitimate things that were I guess I'll say I understand the initial game plan, the philosophy. It took a while for us to get our heads out of that headspace. However, we'll get to that in a second. Teaser for the guys in the biz. Adam.
Yeah.
Offensively, Jordan Travis looked absolutely fantastic with the passing. It looked like it was going to be like a 62 to like 57 game. Not exactly what we want. We want a better performance, but my goodness, I agree with you. And it's very interesting to see how the game turned out, how it was won, with the situational throws of Tate Rodemaker. But guys like Trayshawn Ward, a guy like Trey Benson, who had a very rough start to this game, a very nice finish. And then Lawrence Toafili, it was interesting, like how the game ended with the reliance on the ground. But
yeah, I assume we're going to talk. Yeah, I assume we're going to talk about it more. Chronologically, I'm just trying to just talk about the beginning of the game, but
right.
I thought that Louisville found something on tape that they thought that they could take advantage of with a lot of the movement stuff they were doing. Their quickness really gave FSU lots of problems. They struggle with it. They struggle with some of the movement and some of the slanting. And then on the edges, I didn't think we blocked their ends very well at all.
Yeah.
Especially the Diaby kid. Well, he's really good, or young man. He's not a kid. He's really good, but I thought we struggled to block him. But ultimately, I mean, they fought their butts off, and somebody in the ARS in the chat said that don't overanalyze, the game was won with guts. I mean, yeah, well, that's what it really boiled down to. They were getting beat, but you look at them
the entire first half, and I think it's something that Kevin's going to touch on. I don't know if it's obviously we hate to analyze soft factors, and we're not going to when we look at the film. Energy-wise, it did not seem like they matched the energy of the home team immediately. In the trenches, where it looked like FSU, at least from everybody pregame, thought they were going to have a decided advantage.
Yeah.
I thought that Florida State was getting kind of owned in the trenches, and that's on both sides starting off.
Yeah,
and
I did too.
And that team responded. There was that whole talk of response, adversity, and of course, we were talking about coach speak. It's really shown itself so much in these 3 games, man. It is actually, I mean, we're going to talk about the how and the why, but the fact that they were even in the position to respond the way they did, the mentality of the team, light years different. I cannot believe they won this game still. I'm in shock.
It's completely different, right? I mean, it's night and day from where they were. I in a nutshell, you look over at Louisville, you see Jarvis Brownlee Jr. throughout that second half getting absolutely owned by Johnny Wilson. Hope he tweets about that tonight. I mean, he's getting owned by Johnny Wilson, and his response after every play that he's getting, I want to say a worse word, but owned.
Owned is good enough. We'll take owned
there's one with a W I'd like to say, but every play he's getting destroyed. And you just see him, he pouts, he puts his head down, he's pointing, he's just pointing around. You don't see that on Florida State. You don't see that anymore. So it just speaks to what you're getting at there. Their response, their ability to just kind of buckle it up and go to the next play every single snap. It's something that not every team can do. Really good teams, championship teams are the ones that do it. I'm not projecting to win a championship, but it's the thing that championships teams do when they have that talent, they can push to a championship. It's nice to see them have gotten to this point, and it's what Mike's been preaching since 2020, and it's good to see we're finally there.
I agree 100%. We're going to get there for sure. Kevin, I want to talk to you about Florida State's defensive response. I thought, to me, the story of the game in the first half is that Louisville's offensive line, I don't know if it all gelled or whatever, but I thought they were pushing Florida State around a lot up front. So, Kevin, at least in the first half, talk about Florida State. What do you think they were trying to accomplish, what they completely did not accomplish, and then let's weave that into the second half and see what changed in your mind, if anything.
Are you talking offense or defense?
Our defense against Louisville's offense.
Okay, so our defense, so I kind of talked about it in the preview, and you kind of have 2 options here. They wanted to play a lot of man, and they did. And then when you're playing man, you can either stick with 1 safety up high, or you can stick with 2. If you stick with 2 safeties up high, that means you have to have one of your linebackers spying the quarterback. And all night we saw Kalen DeLoach spying Cunningham, and it just wasn't working. Cunningham was getting yardage. Kalen DeLoach was consistently taking bad angles. He's an athletic linebacker, but he cannot keep up with Cunningham. I think by the end of the second half, you saw them more and more getting a little bit more aggressive, bringing pressures. Because, I mean, if you're going to sit in too high and maybe even play some cover 4, you're going to let Malik Cunningham have those short completions that get the offense going. You're going to kind of let him run the ball on a spy. If you bring a safety down, yeah, you're risking being beat deep, but I didn't think they have the receivers to beat you deep consistently. And then you can have a safety spying Malik Cunningham instead of a linebacker. So they never really made that adjustment. I had a problem with that. I felt like you wanted to shut down Cunningham in this running game as much as possible. I don't think they did a good job of that. I don't think they did a good job putting their players in a good position to shut down Louisville's running game. And then it didn't help that your defensive tackles were getting pushed around in the first half big time.
Adam, what are you thinking?
Well, I thought that early on, Louisville was showing you that they could beat you down the field. And I kind of understood them staying in that 2 shell earlier in the game. But then Wiggins got hurt, and guys kept going down in the receiving core. And I kept thinking, all right, it's time to bring pressure. It's time to bring pressure. And it just never came until the very end. And when you saw at the very end, he started bringing pressure, they started getting stops. Yeah, I asked Kevin to share this. Rising Spear is doing a let me find it exactly so I say this correctly. Rising Spear's asking for people to sign up. Rising Spear $100 gold membership on sale now for $30 for the next 48 hours.
Ooh, 70% off. That's a
If
great
you're-
percentage.
If you're not giving a Rising Spear, please consider doing so. Anyway,
whatever.
back to
give me money.
back to
Give
our-
me money. Give me money. Give me money. Give me money.
We don't
Go
get paid by them to say that.
ahead. No.
Once guys started going out, I thought it made sense to bring a safety in the box and start playing pressure. Kalen played an awesome game, but I didn't think he could handle keeping up with Malik, because not many guys can. That's not a knock.
No,
not many
not
guys
at
are going to
all.
keep up with Malik Cunningham. But you got to tip your captain Malik Cunningham too. That dude played just about a perfect game until the very end there. Now, is that because of the pressure, or is that because he just kind of fell apart? Whatever.
I don't know. It kind of lines up with what you just said. Like, he played a perfect game until the end, until the defensive philosophy switched. I mean, I didn't understand. I'm glad that they finally made the difference. And I do think that there was an energy difference you could see from the lackadaisical tackling, some of the weird angles they took. Like, the first half was just very off from a defensive performance standpoint. However, I don't know why it took so long for that defensive calling philosophy to switch, because Cunningham was beating you anyway when you were playing that more conservative defense. I wanted us to get aggressive earlier, because at least in between the big plays that were happening, no matter what the defense was playing, you'd at least get some negatives in there to mix it up. Now, we finally got there at the end, and it was a winning performance across the board with Tate Rodemaker as quarterback, which is just crazy, right? So it was a winning performance. I just wish we would have switched the methodology up a little bit earlier. Is there any reason why am I maybe simplifying it too much for you two guys? What do you think? Do you think there's maybe a reason why we didn't switch the defensive philosophy mindset up earlier?
I mean, I think you look at the strength of your defense as the front six, and you're going to trust them to stop the run and slow down Malik Cunningham. And you see the weakness being your secondary. And so you want to have two safeties back to help your secondary and trust your defensive line. And your defensive line was getting beat. So at a certain point, you can't trust them.
It's a team that's been killed by, especially against Louisville, by big chunk plays over the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's true.
I get being in your head and wanting to defend against that. I thought Adam really did a good job late in the game. Those last couple of drives of going out and being more aggressive. He started bringing boundary corner pressure. He brought a field corner pressure one time, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
He started doing more stuff, and I mean, the results kind of are what they are. They started getting stops. Cunningham's feet got a little wild, and the ball started sailing.
And it is a direct contrast to what happened at the end of the LSU game. Obviously, this game looked totally different, but from the end of the game, situations were wildly different as well, right? Because Adam Fuller was taking a lot of grief, deservedly so, for the way that the end of that LSU game was called. The way that the end of this Louisville game was called, completely different. They handled the end of the game situation in an extremely pressure-packed environment, much different, with a much different philosophy. And Florida State, I thought, handled the end of this Louisville game markedly better than they did the end of the LSU game. And it was a philosophy switch. So let's talk about, Kevin, I want to talk to you. Jordan Travis gets hurt. I think I tweeted out, darkness, my old friend, welcome to doomsday. The dark void is staring us upon the face. I was very Nietzschean. I was very Friedrich Nietzsche. I was a nihilist because I thought the game was over, and depending how many weeks Jordan Travis is out, as is the season, it follows.
Mm-hmm.
What did Mike Norvell do to get Tate Rodemaker into the flow of this game and honestly utilize? I mean, the bad plays were very Tatean. They were bad. But my God, the highs were high, my brother. Like, what did he do? Was there a switch in philosophy? And what are the strengths of Tate's game? Tate fan number 1, 69-420, Kev Little, 467.
All right. So you can't have a pocket passing quarterback if you don't have receivers that win one-on-one. Florida State has a receiver that can win one-on-one. His name is Johnny Wilson. And he
did.
So what they were doing is they were basically saying, well, Louisville's going to sit here and they're going to bring a safety down late, and Florida State's going to RPO him. So they're going to run a slant, and if the safety comes down into the box, then they're going to throw the slant. If he stays back, then they're going to hand it off and have a numbers advantage.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was, after the first drive, Florida State got completed a couple of those slants, drove down, scored a touchdown. Louisville started slow playing this safety and then bringing him down quickly after the snap.
Okay.
So that kind of stalled the drives for the next couple of drives as they ran a couple of RPOs that just got stopped because now Louisville's got that extra person.
Right.
So what Florida State decided to go to then was to just pure play action it, right? Don't even give the read option. They know he's going to come down late. And now you've got that one-on-one with Johnny Wilson, and you have to trust that your offensive line can give you time to make a play action and hit that deep ball with one-on-one coverage. And he did. And he made the throws he needed to make. You simplify the reads because you're not even giving an option. You're putting one receiver onto a lonely side and saying you're going to have man coverage. Don't have to read the field. Just throw a beautiful ball. And we all know that. We all know now. I knew this before, but he throws a beautiful ball.
Stun on him, Kev. Stun on him, baby.
I think that the key with him is he's not going to be able to read the field, and he hasn't been able to show that he can read the field. Make the reads easy, give him tough throws, easy reads, and he showed that he can make that. And so as long as Jordan Travis is out, that's probably the offense you're going to see. You're going to see, as long as they're going to keep two safeties back, we're going to run the football. If they roll a safety down, well, now you've got to have a cornerback that can man up on Johnny Wilson, and good luck with that.
It is interesting. It's like simplify, cut the field in half. You know what, Tate? This is your throw. Make the tough throw. And honestly, like ball placement location-wise, when it's not an ambiguous decision, when he knows what he's going to do with conviction, he puts the ball in a decent location, which is crazy because he threw one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen in my life in the first half. But my God, when the kid knows where he's going to go with the football, he throws it with some zip and he puts it exactly where the guy needs to be. It's such an interesting game to watch. Adam, what was your assessment of the play in the trenches? I thought in the first half, Louisville owned it. I thought that Florida State had a lot of deficiencies, and we'll see if the film will fortify this opinion that I have. But I thought at right tackle, I thought we looked really porous in the first half. What did you think? Give me your assessment as the trench guru. What did you think of Florida State's play in the trenches on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, we'll start on the offensive side. I thought that you mentioned Jazz.
Rough game, I thought. I really thought a rough game.
Yeah, I didn't think he played well, especially on some of the outside zone stuff. He got in space and kind of looked lost. That was concerning. And didn't hold up great in pass protection either. Obviously, this is an instant reaction. We're going to get a chance to go back and watch it a couple times and give some more thorough thoughts as we watch the film review. I didn't think Robert Scott played particularly well either. Just on first watch, I thought again, and I said it earlier, I thought that they struggled with the movement, the speed, the agility of the front for Louisville. I thought it was very, very very troublesome for them. I thought they looked slow-footed, kind of in cement against that front. I did think that they moved the interior of the line when they started getting downhill, and I don't know why they didn't do that more. The counter stuff was just too slow, too slow developing for them, especially with Tate in there, because nobody respected Tate as a runner. Obviously with Jordan in there, it's a little bit different of an offensive line because you have to account for him when he goes out.
It wasn't getting pushed in the first half either.
No, it wasn't. Again, they were trying a lot of the slow developing stuff, counters or play. They were really wanted to try to get it going. It wasn't there. They were committed to stopping that play. Defensive line wise, it was kind of a valiant effort. I see Dartwick is saying pass rush this week. They weren't rushing the passer.
Yeah,
they were getting up the field. They were getting up the field to a point and looking to contain Malik Cunningham. It didn't work. That point blank, it just didn't work. I don't think they have the athletes up on that front, especially without Fabian Lovett. And then Jared Verse goes down. Patrick Payton came in and played a tough he played a tough game. You're not wanting to get a lot of snaps out of him, but you were forced to. You were forced to play Leonard Warner tonight.
Stepped up though. A very, like you said, I think you were going to say valiant, but an actual valiant effort. I will say. The
interior has been a disappointment for me though. I don't think that they are as good as
tonight or overall. Tonight
Overall,
or
I didn't think they were great last week against LSU either.
Okay, interesting.
so
I
They're
don't know that I can
concern for me.
100% disagree.
I don't think that they play. I don't think they stop the run as well as they need to.
There were a couple times on like 4th and 2, 3rd and 5 where I really thought Scott Satterfield was going to lean on like some inside zones, some inside runs. Man,
He's an idiot.
Yeah,
He's an
he
idiot.
kind of sucks a little bit. Thank you
Yeah.
for sucking. Finally, enough for us to beat you. We
They should fire
appreciate
his
it,
ass.
and we will take it. Yeah, fire him into the sun, dude, and into some moon off Jupiter. Let's talk about the positive progression, guys. Mike Norvell knew from the first half on, Tate Rodemaker's my quarterback. I'm 7 points down. I've got to win with him. When everybody in the entire world was saying he cannot play, he is not a functional football player. I don't care what you're saying now. At the time, everybody was saying Tate's not a functional football player. Take him out, throw A.J. Duffy in there, or run like a weird wing tee or a triple option or something like that. They said he could not play football. He cannot finish this game. Not only did he finish this game, he finished this game while being down on the road and making some very, very interesting, great throws. What happened? Did Mike Norvell call the game in Tate's favor? Like what was the difference? What did we?
Yeah, I think I already went over that a little bit. They simplified the reads. They gave him easy reads and tough throws. He made the throws. I don't agree with bringing in AJ Duffy. I think Norvell's the kind of guy that wants a quarterback that's been in his system for a minute. He wants a guy that can audible run plays and get them into the right formations, into the right plays. And I think that, Rodemaker's been that guy. He's been here. And so I think that's what's giving him leeway. So where the rest of the world sees these dumb decisions and dumb throws that he does make, the reason why Duffy's not playing is because Duffy
he's not ready.
He's not ready. Just
not ready
because he's got a
play.
4-star by his name doesn't mean he's an automatic star quarterback.
There's varying degrees, right? There's difference between like a 4-star guy and a guy that's like a ready-made starter, like a Justin Fields or like a Quinn Ewers or whatever, those guys that are those generational talents like Trevor Lawrence is. AJ Duffy's a very talented prospect. There are very few talented high school prospects that can just get inserted seamlessly into the college game.
And those guys need to have an offense built around them.
Correct.
And you haven't
You're
done
100%
that with AJ
right.
Duffy.
Good point. That's a really good point.
I mean, the staff, what Tate did tonight, the staff thought he could do.
They've seen him do it every day in practice.
They've had faith in him of doing this. This is not a shock to them. The shock to them is when he goes out and absolutely shits the bed. If we're being completely honest,
I thought it was a poop bed. I'm shocked because I thought the bed was going to be covered.
I think
with
they knew
the entire time.
They knew it was in there, but they didn't go get somebody for a reason. They thought that this was what Tate could do. They showed faith in him tonight, and it paid off for him. I mean, and now you've got an opportunity to spend a week game planning for the young man. I don't think it ever made sense to put AJ Duffy in. He hasn't been in the system long enough. He hasn't shown anything as a passer leading up to this season. He didn't throw the ball a ton at IMG last year. He hasn't thrown the ball a ton since his sophomore year in high school. You're just going to throw him in there? It makes no sense. I don't understand.
He's a 4-star
rationale with wanting to see AJ Duffy at this point. Give him the year. If he gets forced in because Tate now gets hurt, whatever. But give him the year. Let him,
Adam, don't put it out there, my brother. Don't put that out in the ether.
Whatever. It is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
All right. We got to talk about the goal.
The goal line's coming up.
I want to see Kev's head explode.
Before you go, Kevin. For whatever reason, ESPN, this is a primetime environment, all eyes on this game. For whatever reason, the fact that ESPN does not put their best and brightest on this game, I have no idea. This announcing team of Ryan Teapot and Andre Scare, they covered themselves in dishonor multiple times throughout the broadcast before we talk about the goal line situation that Kev is he's pushing his hair back that I don't have in his very gentle way of frustration that he has. However, that announcing team sucks, and many of the things that they say on football are inaccurate, and they made no sense, and they had no idea who Florida State was, and many of the things that they said were very stupid. The goal line thing did rub a lot of people the wrong way. You're getting a lot of yards on the ground with Trey Benson and Trayshawn Ward through straight runs. People want to know why you do the Wyatt Rector thing, why you do the Micah Pittman thing. I can already tell that I agree with what you're going to say, Kevin. However, expound, my friend, on why you did or didn't have an issue with the play calling at the goal line that did result in 7 points after third down.
Yeah, I think first of all, if Andre Ware is informing you of your football opinions,
don't do it, guys. Don't
then
fall for
change
it.
your mind. You guys are wrong. Look, you've got a quarterback that you probably haven't run a lot of goal line practice with, a lot of under center practice with. You just played a game where freaking everybody and their sister criticized you for running the slightest risk of a play on the goal line in a need to score situation. So what do? You do the smallest risk play possible.
It's a dive, baby. It's a
literally
dive.
Under center quarterback sneak. There is like 0% chance of a fumble in this situation. You need 1 yard over 3 downs. There is nothing wrong with a quarterback sneak with a guy that's played quarterback in high school, which clearly Andre Ware had no idea about, who's probably taken more under center snaps in practice than Tate Rodemaker, who's probably not getting a ton of goal line snaps, like I said. That is the safest play you could possibly do with 1 yard to go.
On a play that they've scored before in a game situation. That exact play, they've scored before on it. Right?
I think they scored on it twice.
Yeah, multiple times. Like
sneak.
It was very strange to hear the Andre Ware reaction to something that has been in the playbook, the arsenal of a Mike Norvell offense. And then the Micah Pittman thing he got all butthurt about. But it was like, listen, Tate Rodemaker's in the game. They didn't respect his running ability. They didn't respect any zone ability. It's whatever. You get out of the congested tackle box with a guy who's a really tough runner on the goal line. I didn't get it. And then you dial up the play to Johnny Wilson. You score immediately afterwards. I didn't understand the hubbub of the goal line sequence of events. A red zone opportunity that scored.
Jet sweep is a great play on the goal line. Pittman scores if he keeps running. He tried to cut it up.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah, I thought there was a lot of stupidity around that whole conversation. But hey,
dude, it's a freaking quarterback sneak with a guy that played quarterback. I don't understand. It is not a gimmick. We run it all the time. It's only a gimmick because he's not watched a single second of Florida State football before this game.
Well, no, at that point he was waiting for Fabian Lovett to still be in the game. It was absolute. What do you guys have against him doing his job? I'd prefer him to do his job correctly and be informed
I just don't like
he's watching.
I don't like inaccurate narratives. That's all.
Preparation. There is one of the best. You know what? I'm going to say the best wrestling announcer in the game, Kevin Kelly. New Japan Pro Wrestling star and huge Florida State alumni and fan. Kevin, if you're watching, I love you. There's a level of preparation in the guys who are the best of the best, and that was severely lacking. Severely lacking in this game.
And we're addressing it. There's some people, why are we talking about it? We're addressing it because it's been asked like 8,000 times.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why. Yeah, that's why. So.
When an announcer says something overtly negative, it tells all the viewers that was a bad thing. And then we have to sit here and hear it all the time. Like we will spend the next week hearing so many people tell us that was a stupid decision because Andre Ware said it was a stupid decision.
And it's like a John Nash mathematical equation. It wasn't the perfect play call, but Jesus Christ, it was not like 2 or 3 indefensible play calls in a row on a red zone opportunity where you scored. I don't understand. However, I think let's move off of that. The second half, Adam, let's wrap this up. We're at 34 minutes. Maybe we'll take some questions. What was the most impressive thing to you of that second half response of a game that, guys, Florida State's 3-0 and we won it, and I'm maybe starting to solve the Rubik's Cube of how we did it. I still don't really know. Adam, to you, what was, oh my God, I hope that's the real Lawrence Toafili, Polynesian Power. I respect you. Oh, is it? Mr. Toafili. Mad respect. I love you guys. I love Polynesia. I love your son. He's a wonderful running back. Anyway, Adam, second half. What was the most impressive thing? What is the story of the game, in your opinion, before we answer some questions?
It's got to be Johnny Wilson, right? I mean,
God, my
how-
Lord.
how's it
Beasted
not?
up the entire game.
He took over the football game. They found ways to get him the ball. I mean, he just, yeah, I don't know how it's anything but Johnny Wilson. Making Jarvis Brownlee look idiotic, which who can't be happy about that right now.
149 yards on 7 receptions, 21.3 yards per, and 2 touchdowns. Johnny Wilson, thou hast arrived.
Yeah, there's a reason when I did my season preview, Johnny Wilson was the first name out of my mouth as a player. The kid's ceiling is so freaking high, and you saw it. I mean, shoot, if the kid's catching contested balls, he's 6'7" and runs like a wide receiver. That's insane.
Bullying him, dude. Bullying him. And it was fantastic. So, guys, we'll get to some questions, guys. Start throwing your questions in the chat. We will address them. We're playing with house money. I love you. Oh my God, it is Kevin Kelly, my
He's
man,
here.
best pro wrestling announcer in the biz. Love you too, brother. Listen, the king of preparation, the prince of preparation, the god of the sport of kings, Kevin Kelly. Love you, brother. Listen, guys, we're playing with house money right now because, my God, who would have thought that we would have won this game with Tate Rodemaker starting an entire half with a deficit on the road? What are we expecting for the next however many weeks Jordan Travis is out, guys? I mean, let's just do a roadmap of the next 4 games. We're playing against a Boston College team that is definitely not as good as we thought preseason. I mean, with Tate Rodemaker, could we go 2-2? What are you guys thinking? What are you looking for in the next coming weeks? Because, man, Florida State is 3-0. I don't think really anybody on the beat predicted us to be 3-0 after this first 3 games. And it was a strange way we got there. But Jesus Christ, boys, we are here, and I am soaking it in.
Yeah, I mean, I think BC's a game home, 8 o'clock. I think that's a game that I don't ever say you're penciling games in as wins because I don't believe in that in football. But I think that's a game that you can go win with Tate at quarterback. Wake's a game you're probably going to have to win a shootout. We'll see.
Tough with Hartman. That's tough with Hartman back for sure.
Their defense is about as good as Louisville. So we saw what just happened tonight. Not gonna rule that one out. Could be a battle of 2 ranked teams in Tallahassee. Maybe College Game Day makes its way down. Who knows?
Come on, baby. Give it to me. Give it to me.
And then obviously NC State and Clemson are going to be tough games.
Buzzsaw.
To win. Yeah. They're going to be tough games to win. That Wake, NC State, Clemson stretches was always going to be tough no matter what. So it's still tough. So maybe you're 4-3 coming out of those 3 games. Maybe Jordan Travis is making his way back. Fabian Lovett getting back in there. Who knows? We'll see where everybody's at here over the next couple weeks. But I think you got a shot at. I think you got a pretty good shot at being 1-3 in those games, and you never know. I mean, if Tate continues to make plays and progresses, we're seeing that this football team is capable of finding ways to win and win, close games, and that counts for something. So I'm not gonna count them out of anything.
Adam Brown, it's a winning football team with Tate Rodemaker as your quarterback, and nobody would have said that preseason.
Ever.
So I think in and of itself, that's a huge development. That is massive. You can win games with Tate Rodemaker in a hostile environment when you're already at a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, man. I mean, the kid's game has limitations, but the things that he's good at, there's winning football to be found because we grabbed it tonight. Kevin, do you agree with a lot of what Adam said? Anything else you'd like to add before we start answering some questions?
Yeah, realistically, those are going to be probably the best 3 teams you play back to back to back.
Yeah.
And I think that's tough. That's a tough draw. I think you should beat Boston College. I think that should be a game you should go in and win. Hopefully that gives enough rest for Jordan Travis. I think we all saw that Tate has the capability of being a really solid guy to come in at a pinch. But right now it's just like your best chance to win is with Jordan Travis and Jared Verse on the field. And you need those two guys to be able to beat teams like Wake Forest and Clemson and NC State. So hopefully they can get back. Hopefully they can get healthy. And Boston College, Boston College is not going to be the most tough team you play. So it's a game you need to win if on your route to kind of bowl eligibility here.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair way to put it. But guys, 3-0, the most optimistic of the optimists, did not have us going to the Superdome, beating LSU, back-to-back, beating Louisville on the road on a Friday night. This is a well-earned 3-0. Adam, hit me with some good questions. Let's talk to the people because we love you guys. We're here. We're experiencing it all with you. My God, what a night, boys! Coach Norvell's post-game presser opening. Give me some questions, Adam. Read me the questions and let's go.
A lot of people want to talk about the kicker.
Yeah,
he's bad. He's bad at football. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
At
Blake
this
Miller,
point, no.
A lot of different people are asking what we can do about kicking. There's nothing. I mean, they're gonna have to try this freshman that they've got and see if he can make a field goal.
Yeah.
He's not very good. It just is what it is. I don't want to. Kicking's not easy, but he's not very good.
And there's such a huge mental aspect to it that no matter how good he could be, Cotton Fitzsimmons' mentals are absolutely ruined. We'll see, man. Yeah, I think whoever you got on the roster can kick a ball, go ahead, or just play the Madden offense and never have any special teams. But yeah, the kicking game it's non-existent. Where was Deuce Spann? Aces352 says, that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Do you think that he could have been integrated in the game plan a little bit more? I don't know. It's kind of tough, man. With the way Johnny Wilson was performing, you found a favorable matchup. Maybe he could have factored in more on like the motion, like running game, but I don't know if Deuce Spann was incredibly missed. What do you guys think?
They look to really limit the wide receiver rotation.
Put your phone down, you social media diva.
Brendan's trying to get me to.
Well, he can wait. Put it down, nerd. Don't have a bourbon and shut up.
Yeah, they did seem to narrow the roster or the
rotation. Absolutely, it's like a playoff wide receiver rotation, right?
Not sure why that was. Didn't hear anything coming out of practice, but they did seem to narrow it down. So we didn't see. I don't recall Deuce Spann at all. We saw Darian Williamson on an end around that
one time.
Nowhere. Yeah. Other than that, it was Pittman, Wilson, Pokey, McLean.
Man, Pokey missed that one block.
Yeah, he did.
No, he had a good catch, good adjustment on the long ball. But yeah, as far as like the receiving numbers, Wilson, like we said, had 150, and then Cam McDonald had 2 for 45. Wilson, Ontario, 2 for 38. McLean, 2 for 24. Wasn't a huge night throughout the air once Jordan Travis got out, besides Johnny Wilson.
I think that leads to this question.
Who would be in prime position to step up if they start doubling Johnny Wilson? Maximus 1318 says.
Pokey's right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think so. Or any of the assorted slot guys like a Micah Pittman or something like that. But I think the first candidate's definitely Ontario Wilson, his production has had a nice step up through the year. Next question, Kesna Lawrence from YouTube says, is it time for Azariah Thomas to get more snaps? I'm interested to see what you guys think. I thought Renardo Green had an awesome game tonight. One of my favorite pass interference penalties I've ever seen in the first couple drives. Yeah, dude, if you're gonna get the PI, earn it, truck him, bury him in the ground. But I thought Renardo Green had an awesome game tonight, and I feel like we'll see when we watch the film, caveat, some of the defensive communication miscues got kind of settled up a little bit. What'd you guys think of the play of the secondary?
I thought it was surprisingly decent. I think this is probably going to be one of the thinnest wide receiver rooms that you're going to play this season, and they still had a couple of injuries, so I think that probably helps. But they definitely stepped up at the end and made a few plays, especially on some mesh routes and things of the sort to kind of clutch out the end of game. I really don't think that they were your weakness, but again, you had safeties over the top of them, so they were also getting help behind them.
I'm interested. It's going to be a fun rewatch because there's a lot of instances where the wide receivers had huge pockets of space. I want to see how those got there.
Yeah,
Same.
I thought Cunningham was really just that good tonight.
He that one throw over Tatum Bethune was that was an insane throw, I think.
Yeah. I thought he was just really that good. So, yeah, we'll see it on the film review. Here we go. I think this is a good one. Rooting interest tomorrow from Ricardo.
Ricardo Castro from YouTube said, "What's the rooting interest tomorrow? I want A&M to lose to help with 5-star wide receiver recruit Hakeem Williams, but I can't bring myself to root for Miami." Ricardo, I am with you. I will never, ever, ever, ever root for Miami or Florida to win a football game. It doesn't matter what. I could understand how this is a fence post game for most people, but I personally, you cut me, I bleed garnet. I have the Greg Jones Dexter Reed highlight on my desktop like repeatedly. I watch it to put myself to sleep. I'm in garnet and gold and Noli as they come. I cannot root for Miami nor Florida to win any football game.
Here's what to root for. 6-3.
Gross game.
Jimbo runs the ball 45 times and they throw for 30 yards. That's what to root for. And A&M wins.
That's right. 6-3. And it's 3 safeties versus 1 field goal.
Yeah. I mean, I think Florida State's going to pick up Blake Nicholson in 3 days. He commits on the 20th. And then I think on the 26th, I think Hakeem Williams is going to choose the Knowles.
Big news, Adam Brown.
I'm going to get spicy. This is obviously a big weekend for him at A&M. I know Pitt pulled out all the stops. They really showed him a really nice time. But I think I think right now it's a Florida State A&M battle. Jimbo maybe he's going to wear his brown closer coat on the sideline. Who knows?
Yeah, the poop jacket. Yeah, Primanti sandwiches are kind of dry. Jimbo's got the poop jacket. Let's go, Knowles. Get him, Knowles.
Yeah, I think Jimbo's done some damage though to his rep with that last game. So
he's had better weeks in the public eye, and this is coming from somebody who tried to fight a fan in Doak Campbell. Anyway, Keston Lawrence. What did Tony White do in week 1 to have success that Fuller could not replicate with a better roster? I don't understand that question. So can you explain?
Tony White's the defensive coordinator for Syracuse.
Syracuse had good corners, and they trusted them, and they blitzed the crap out of Louisville, put a ton of pressure on them. That's what I was saying earlier. I kind of wish Florida State had done that because that was a blueprint to win. But Syracuse does have better cornerbacks than you, so that game plan and their defense specifically just kind of played better into stopping Louisville.
I think that's a fair question. It would be interesting to see that. I do not think that Scott Satterfield called the Florida State game with Malik Cunningham the same way that he called the Syracuse game at Syracuse. So I think that that's a marked difference. Obviously, teams improve from week 1 to week 2 to week 3, but I'm with Kesna. I do think that the game plan was a little bit too passive, at least in the first half, and I think we could have switched philosophies, but we'll see. The film will tell the story. That's just my knee-jerk reaction. I wish we would have been more aggressive earlier. So I think that's a fair question. I need this win in wrestling MMA terms. Okay, I got you. Frank Trigg, Matt Hughes too. Matt Hughes gets brutally kicked in the testicles. Absolute. Just one of the most blatant nut shots in the history of the world. Frank Trigg gets on his back, is going for the rear naked choke. Matt Hughes reverses the position out of nowhere in the most unreal, unthinkable, unimaginable comebacks in the history of MMA. This is the gold and silver age of MMA. This is like, we're talking about the Ultimate Fighter 1 stuff. Matt Hughes gets the rear naked choke, chokes Frank Trigg out after getting a dick shot of the highest caliber. And brother, I can think of many ways to describe losing Jordan Travis, Jaron Verse, and Robert Scott in the same way. but I am not eloquent enough to describe it better than a shot to the dick. And that's exactly what this was. And Florida State overcame a cock shot of the highest caliber in boys, and we won. Frank Trigg, Matt Hughes too.
I think on that note, take us home, Trey.
Yeah, I think we've talked about enough.
God, 49 minutes of an instant reaction. It just felt like a dream. Boys, for Coach Adam Brown, for Kevin Little, I am Trey Rowland. Florida State is unbelievably 3-0 with the warrior, the road warrior, king of the Thunderdome, Tate Rodemaker.
King of the Thunderdome.
Thank you, George Georgie. Yeah, it is. I appreciate that. King of the Thunderdome, 2 men enter, 1 Tate leaves. The Tate of the Heisman, unbelievably, we have won at Louisville. Florida State is undefeated, going for a chance at 4-0. I love it. I love you. We have instantly reacted. My God, what a ride. Continue to go to Knowles 24/7, the best Florida State website in the history of Florida State or websites, and keep chopping.